Guys, today I'm going to be completing an SEO audit on a random med spa website that's currently ranking on the second page of Google and providing you guys with some SEO tips and tactics as what I personally would recommend doing to help it rank from the second page to the first page of Google. So I'm an SEO expert with Lead Tagger and we do SEO for med spa clients. So let's get started. With all of our clients, we categorize our SEO tactics into four main pillars of SEO. The first pillar of SEO is called indexation. So this is where we look at how well your website can be read by Google and whether or not the important pages on your site are being indexed in Google so that people can find them online. The second pillar of SEO is called authority. So this is where we look at the number of backlinks your site has and the quality of those backlinks. And we compare those backlinks with your competitors that are outranking you to see where we can find opportunities to acquire more backlinks pointing to your site. The third pillar is called content. So this is where we look at the on-page content on your site and we see how well it is optimized with SEO in mind. The fourth and last pillar is called experience. So this is where we analyze whether or not your site is mobile friendly, if it is fast. We look at social media elements and we make sure that your site is user friendly so that people who are reading your site have a good experience on it. So without further ado, let's dive right into google.com and see what website we can do an SEO audit on. So I live in Chino, California. So let's find a med spa in Chino, California. So let's see here. Let's jump to the second page. All right, so before we pick a website, I want to point out a couple of things here. First off, it looks like Google is prioritizing images. So what I would recommend any med spa website to have is have your own personal before and after photos. Ask your patients if you could take a photo of their before and after and add that to your site so that you can show up in the Google image search section. It looks like there's a lot of local directories that are ranking as well, such as BirdEye, MapQuest, bbb.org, Yellow Pages. So you want to make sure that you are on as many local listings as possible. Because it looks like Google is prioritizing a lot of local listings, which means that there might not be a lot of med spas in Chino, California, or the websites that are in Chino, California are essentially not optimized and they're not ranking. So it might be a benefit for you if you are doing some solid SEO work on your site. So let's pick this one right here. This is Revive Aesthetics and Wellness Center. This one is in Chino Hills, California, which is right next to Chino. So when we do this SEO audit, I will be using a project management tool called PLUTIO. We work with this tool and we share this with our SEO clients to share the project plan, and we use this as a communication platform to let our clients know how far along we are with our SEO work. I recommend this for individual teams, businesses, and any SEO that's out there who wants a solid framework for managing projects. So if you want a free 14-day trial on this tool, just click the link in the description for a free trial. So we're gonna split it up into the four main pillars. First, let's start off with the indexation pillar and see what kind of optimizations we can do. So this is just the initial list of the SEO audit that I will be reviewing in today's video. And these are the different checkpoints that I will be reviewing with you today. First one is checking to see if you have any duplicate content issues. We don't want any duplicate content issues because it will affect whether or not Google understands what page to rank and what page not to rank. So this is a huge indexation issue if you do have duplicate content. So let's see if you have any of that going on. I just want to check to see if the www redirects properly. And I also want to see if you have a trailing slash that redirects. Perfect. So at first glance, it doesn't look like you have any duplicate content issues. So I'm going to move this checkpoint over to the complete column. Next one is seeing whether or not if your site is secure. And it looks like your site is secure. You do have HTTPS, but it doesn't look like it's fully secure. So it looks like you might have some issues in terms of the SSL certificate. So I recommend going to your hosting or whoever you purchased your certificate from, just to make sure that it is connected properly and keyed in properly. So you want to make sure that's complete. Next one is set up Google Search Console. So Google Search Console is a free tool by Google that lets you track your performance in Google and allows you to see some keywords for which you are currently ranking for. So put that over to the to-do column. There's no way for me to actually check, so I'll move that over to to-do. Next one is to install Google Analytics. This is a free tool by Google, and it lets you see how well, oops, let me turn off my phone really quickly. Okay, so make sure you have Google Analytics installed. Let me see if you have that. Yes, so it does look like you have Google Analytics. Perfect. So I'm going to move that over to the complete column. Next one is complete and add a robots.txt file. So a robots.txt is a plain text file that instructs search engines where they can and can't go on your site. So this really helps with indexing the proper parts of your site and having them searchable in Google. So let's see if you have that up. Let's see here. Great, it looks like you do. Perfect. And it looks like you have a sitemap as well. That was my next checkpoint. So let me double check the sitemap. Perfect. I'm going to move this over to complete. Sitemap over to complete. So a sitemap is essentially a list of URLs on your site that you tell Google you want them to read and index. And the last one is to install an SEO plugin such as Yoast SEO or any similar plugin like that. It looks like you have a Wix website, so Yoast will not be installed, but I do know Wix does have some SEO elements or features that you can use, so I'm going to move this over to complete. So for the most part, your indexation is good, but the biggest issue is making sure that your SSL certificate is working properly here. So the next pillar of SEO is content. Let's look at the content portions. So these are just the initial baseline checkpoints that I will be reviewing today. And first, let's start off with the title tag. This is one of the biggest elements that we would look at when looking at the content of your site. So let's go to the Botox page and see how well your title tag is. So this is a title tag, as you see under the tab. Let's look at your page source to see if there's anything else that I could see in terms of the title tag. Okay, this is a Wix site, so the HTML is not the same as like a WordPress site, but it doesn't look like your title tag is properly optimized. So I would recommend incorporating the location. So in your case, Chino Hills, California. So I would make sure you add that keyword in your title tag at the least. So I'm going to move this over to do. Next one is to check to see if you have an optimized meta description. So a meta description is a snippet of HTML code that is comprised of a couple of sentences that describe what the page is about. And this is what people would generally read to determine whether or not they want to click onto your site. So let's see if you have a meta description. So I can't really tell if you do have a meta description or not at first glance. I don't want to take up too much time here. So I'm going to move the meta description over to do. Next one is to check to see if you have alt image tags. You have a couple of images here and the logo for Botox. So let's see if you have the alt image tags installed. So I'm going to inspect. So it doesn't look like you have any alt image tags for your images. And this is something that you want to incorporate because an alt image tag is essentially a snippet of descriptive keywords that explain what the image is about so Google can read it and understand what it's about, and also it helps users that are using who are visually impaired understand what the image is about. So you want to make sure you have keywords in the alt image tags behind your images. All right, I'm going to move this over to the to-do column and the H1 tag. So an H1 tag basically tells it structures your content so like that it wraps around the body of your page, and you can only have one H1 tag. That's essentially a header tag. So let's see if you have a header tag here. So I don't think you have a header tag. So this is something that you want to incorporate. I recommend having a header tag around possibly this line here. This is a descriptive one, and what I also recommend you doing is incorporating the keyword Chino Hills, because right now you are not mentioning Chino Hills on the body copy, and that's extremely important if you want to rank for Botox and Chino Hills, for example. So I'm going to move this over to the H1 tag. All right, so you have a lot of work to do in terms of the content portion of SEO. So let's move over to authority. So this is where we look at the backlinks. So I use a link building SEO tool called SEMRUSH. This is really helpful for any SEO expert out there or anyone who owns a website that wants to rank higher in Google. I have a 7-day free trial for you guys. If you want to take a look at this tool and use it and play around with it, just click the link in the description to sign up for that 7-day free trial. So let's check to see how many backlinks you have and the quality of those backlinks using this tool. Okay, so I'm going to go to the backlink analytics section and type in your domain. So it looks like you have 25 backlinks from a total of 14 websites. So let's check out those websites. Okay, so it looks like they are from relevant and not so relevant websites here. I know you have a Care Credit, wellnessliving.com, ilookbetter.com. Let's look at the actual backlinks. You have listings in OC, Orange County. Okay, so not too bad in terms of the quality. All right, so let's look at one of your competitors. So let's go back to Google and see your competitors and see what kind of backlinks they have. Okay, let's pick Serenity MD Medical Weight Loss and Medical Spa Chino. So Serenity MD, so this is probably one of your top competitors. So let's go to SEMRUSH and see. So right now you have 25 backlinks from 14 sites. Let's see what this site has. So they have 168 backlinks from 67 websites. So a lot more, which is one of the reasons why they are ranking much higher than you. So they have links coming from different websites as well. Kind of random. I'm not sure exactly how these sites such as sat.coop relate to medical spas. But I definitely would pick the ones that make sense. And what I would do is try to see if you can get a backlink from these websites that are the most relevant for your company. If you want a list of this, just let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to download this list and send it over to you. Or if you want to just go into SEMRush by yourself, you could do that. Just sign up for the free 7-day trial and you go in, play around with it, do some competitive research within those 7 days, and you'll have all of the information that you need to optimize your site in terms of backlinks. So I'm going to move this over to do in terms of linking to relevant external and internal resources. Also create a Google My Business page. So let's see if you have a Google My Business page. It looks like you do, and you have 5 reviews. I recommend really reaching out to your previous patients and making sure that they leave a review, because the more reviews you have, the more trust you build with your community. And I also recommend creating posts as well on your Google My Business page, because that acts as additional helpful content that people can read about your services, and it helps build that trust with your community as well. So I'm going to move over back here, move this over to do, move this over to do. And lastly, create and add links to local directories. So again, as what we saw with some of the links pointing to your competitors, they have links from different local directories. So I definitely recommend having your profile set up on as many relevant local directories as possible, such as Yellow Pages, White Pages, City Search, Foursquare, things like that. So you definitely have a lot of things to do in terms of authority, because your competitor has a lot more authority than you in terms of backlinks. So the next and final pillar is experience. So let's see how your experience is like. I always like to take a look at the social media elements on the experience column, because it really helps build an overall holistic marketing practice for you. So whenever you share, say for example, a link on Twitter or any social media page, you sometimes see the image with a headline and a description. You want to make sure that's visible on Twitter and social media. So what you want to do is incorporate Twitter cards, and that's a line of code that sits behind your site that instructs Twitter as to what kind of content to pull whenever you share a link. So let's see if you have Twitter cards set up. And I'm not sure if you do have that, so I will put that over to do. Same with open graph tags. They help search engines better pull the content to display on a post. So I'm going to move that over to do. Social plugins. So let's see what kind of plugins you have. So you have links pointing to your Facebook page, Instagram, and Yelp page, which is good, but I don't see any share button or follow button. So I would recommend incorporating some of those on your site. So I'm going to move that over to do. Check to see if your site is mobile friendly, and check to see if it's a fast loading website. So I use a tool by Google. This is the Page Speed Insights tool that will check to see how well your site is optimized for mobile devices. So I'm going to put this in and see what Google tells us. And I will also include a link to this Page Speed Insights tool in the description, so you could take a look at your own site and see whether or not it is optimized for mobile devices. So first off, the overall score is a 27, and that's out of 100. So your site speed definitely needs a lot of work. It is mobile optimized, so it does fit mobile devices, but the speed definitely needs a lot of work. So I definitely recommend improving your site speed. I'm going to move this over to do. And then next one, fix outbound broken links. So Google doesn't like it when you have links that are broken. So make sure you have links that are actually pointing to live pages. This is extremely important because it helps with the overall user experience. So I know you're linking to these products and companies here, but just make sure they are not broken. So you have your Facebook, so you're linking to your Facebook page, but it's a broken page. So definitely fix this, because from just a patient looking at this, that's not a good experience. So let's move that over to do. Add short and descriptive URLs. So this helps with helping patients and visitors understand what the page is about. So that's actually the URL structure, is like what kind of keywords you're adding here. And I think your URL structure is pretty, it's good, it's not bad at all. So I will move that over to complete. And the next one is create a native sitemap. So a native sitemap is a one-pager that has links to all of the pages on your site, and this helps people understand how many pages you have, and it allows them to quickly navigate to the page that they are looking for. So let's go back to your site, and I don't think I see a sitemap. It's usually linked on the footer, and so that's something that I recommend you create. And lastly, add schema markup to enhance SERP visibility. So this is some markup that sits on the back end of your site that instructs Google as to what kind of information to pull to display on google.com. So whenever you see stars, whenever you see additional links under your listing in Google, that's pulled from the schema markup. And that's extremely important if you want those additional elements to show up and to tell Google how your content is structured on the page. So let's see if you do have schema markup here. I'm not sure if Wix will allow us to. You might have it, but I cannot confirm with this. So what I'm gonna do is move it over to do, just in case you don't have that. All right, so this is just a quick SEO audit, and for the most part, you have quite a bit of SEO checkpoints to complete. But I think overall, you have a lot of room for improvement. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I will also add a link to this actual SEO project plan, so you could take a look at it if you want. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful day.